Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of RK Football Talk. I have got rid of my beard. I have gone like a full-blown potato now. Yeah, thank you for everyone for noticing, by the way. Compliments will be wanted now. Okay. No, you're good. But yeah, I'm back, and we've got David with us and Stuart this week.
Hey
guys.
So, hello.
Carl is still on injury. He's still having the trauma from losing the quiz. I'm not going to stop bringing it up until he's back.
Is it pure coincidence? Every time you say something controversial or beat Carl in something, he mysteriously goes missing for 2 or 3 weeks.
Lads, I think I'll give the next episode a miss.
Yeah. Matt does me head in so much.
Yeah.
But I think, what better place to start this week than obviously the Premier League? I think Old Trafford. Should we start there? I mean, from what I've read, I obviously watched highlights. I did watch full game, but Bruno Fernandes once again saves Man United. But what a boring game!
Yeah, I mean, I watched the full game. That first half, I mean, United have a weird tendency to be just really, really poor in first half and then kind of pick it up a bit in the second half of games this season, especially under Ramarim, and it was kind of the same for this game. It was kind of straight. But then it was a kind of reverse. So United were there for the taking in the first half. So Arsenal should have killed off the game in the first half. But then there was a flip, and United's performance in the second half was far better. And they should have actually won the game in the second half. They had a lot of chances against Arsenal. They were falling back and back further as the.
Do you think though, where you say that Man United were there for the taking in that first half? Do you think? Sorry, guys. Do you think that is a reflection on how bad Arsenal have been in recent times, that they couldn't take advantage of such a weak Man United side at that point? I think like Saka would have he was sliced open that defense and then probably have scored, but they just don't have that dynamism by the looks of things in the minute.
Yeah, it's one of those performances by Arsenal that yet again brings into the question their lack of a striker. And I think everyone's sort of getting sick of repeating it now. It seems to be the only thing that people talk about when it comes to Arsenal these days, especially if they don't win or they get a draw. Obviously they played in Europe last week, 7-1 against PSV. No one was really talking about strikers then. But as soon as they kind of can't get a win over the line, get the 3 points, then it suddenly comes back into question. Did you guys see that interview, that the post-match interview with Arteta, where the interviewer on Sky Sports, the interviewer kind of brought up the fact, why didn't you buy a striker in title race? And he kind of stormed off. And you can see that even Arteta is kind of, he's more aware than everyone else, isn't he? That they need a bloody striker.
They do.
Really starting to get to them, I think. Yeah. But not a great game quality-wise. But apart from the 2 goals, everything else in between wasn't great. A couple of chances near the end for United to win it. Bruno's chance, great save by Raya. Kind of a double save with that second one, just kind of scooping it off the line was great by him.
Exactly.
Apart from the 2 goals, nothing else to kind of write home about, really.
Well, it's like the one player, and we did speak about it before, was Bruno Fernandes, and I'll sing his praise again. I do think he is a player that belongs in he is definitely the standout performer, but he's now really starting to save Man United in these games, getting them these odd points here and there. And yes, okay, everyone's getting a bit but then he brought the ball too far back for the free kick and everything. You still got to execute it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what that chat was. I didn't see the big deal about the wall was 2 yards further back when it should have been. I didn't really get it, but like you said, you still need to put the thing in the back of the net, which he did.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny. He has been our best player since Amorim came in, and probably of the season, really. But it's not. I mean, it's funny when you say that he's been United's savior, and we're still 14th in the league. And I think if West Ham beat Newcastle tonight, we'll be back down to 15th again. So I mean, that point will kind of mean nothing really if West Ham get a result tonight.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
think it put all your eggs in one basket. Europa League, isn't it, really, for Man United?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, the league. I mean, there's nothing else to fight for in the league. A top half finish maybe would be nice, I guess. And and then Europe is is pretty much it. What the 1-1 I think against Sociedad in the first leg.
There you go.
You never know what could happen in the second leg. I mean, it could be just curtains by the time the weekend comes around. So you never know.
But do you think that Bruno Fernandes is I saw a stat earlier. He is 25 goal contributions, 25 plus goal contributions, and only Mo Salah and Erling Haaland have actually done that as well. And you think, does that not emphasize how good he's actually been?
Yeah, well, that alone shows you how bad United have been. When they have a player who's contributing that much, and they're still sitting in 14th in the league, and they're out of the FA Cup, everything else apart from the Europa League. That stat alone just tells you how bad they've been, really.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point actually, because like you'd think, oh, so Man United must be good.
They must be in the top 4 race or something,
exactly.
not languishing down near the relegation zone or whatever, But again, it just goes to show how bad they've been.
Exactly. But I think obviously we've got to speak about Arsenal as well. I know.
Yeah.
If they're out of the title race, the title race is done.
Probably, 100%.
Done and dusted. I mean, it was even done before that match, but it just goes to show. Do you remember when Leicester? I think it was when Leicester won the league. There was all that talk of Spurs doing the 2-horse race for the title, and they finished third.
They finished third, They finished third
Arsenal
in the 2-horse race.
Are in danger of doing the exact same thing if Nottingham Forest catch
if they're not careful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like 2-horse race. Oh yeah, but we finished third beyond Nottingham Forest. I mean, like Nottingham Forest deserve where they are, and if they pip Arsenal to second, I mean, I think Arteta would be stunned.
That'd be crazy, by the way. Imagine looking at that table at the end of the season and you sit there and if no one knew anything what was going on this season, and they sat there and said, "Wait, Nottingham Forest in the title race?" Because if you wouldn't know, it's like I think someone said they're more looking at top 4 was probably a discussion at this point, right, for Arsenal, isn't it? Because obviously you got was it Nottingham Forest doing well? I mean, City's slipped up, other teams around it. So if they don't start picking up points, maybe top 4.
I think. Are you talking about Arsenal? Sorry, or Nottingham Forest? Arsenal. I mean, I'm looking at the table now. They would have to. So City would need to gain. They're 13 points. Sorry, ahead of City, who are in 5th. So they would have to have a horrendous last 10 games of the season.
They would
finish outside the top 4. So I think it's very likely they will finish top 4. If they don't, they would have to lose maybe 7 of their last 10 games or something, which isn't going to happen. But they do have to be careful, like Stuart said, about Nottingham Forest maybe creeping up on them. If they start to kind of, the fact that the title's lost, spirits are down. Maybe they don't put that much effort in the league. They drop more in games, and they drop more points here and there. And Forest kind of gain on. They're only 4 points ahead of Forest. It's very likely that Forest can maybe pip them for second place.
Well, it was like I was saying the other day after they smashed, like you say, they smashed PSV 7-1.
Yeah.
And then they come to Old Trafford, obviously draw. And I was saying after that game when they beat PSV, do they just play their strongest side and like in the Champions League in every game now and sort of just solidify the Champions League place in the Premier League? It's a hard one because it's like, do you know what?
Yeah.
They're definitely through. Like, I mean, my God, if PSV ended up going through, that'd be the biggest comeback of all time.
That would be the biggest comeback or the most unexpected comeback in football history.
It's one of those games. Everyone's so expected probably that Arsenal go through that their views are going to be so low because everyone's like, "Well, they're going through." It's a boring game to watch. And then suddenly, it's 4-0 PSV at half time.
Comeback's on.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal don't have to do too much to make sure they don't end the season in utter disaster. So they're pretty much nailed on for the top 4 in the league. Yeah. The title's gone. Everyone knows that. They know that. They're not really expected to win the Champions League, but they're already through they're basically through to the last to the next round. They've got a second leg against PSV, obviously, but it's the game's over. The tie's over. So if they can maybe advance into the semis of the Champions League and finish in the top 4, it's not the worst. I mean, obviously, it's worse in terms of what the expectancy was for Arsenal. But for it to be an utter disaster, I think for them to drop out of the top 4 if they did lose to PSV somehow,
Yeah.
it's still not much the same as City. I think it won't be a completely disastrous season for the trophyless, but
exactly. No, I agree. I think the sooner they get Saka back like that, you'll start to see that better football again from Arsenal.
So much.
So,
Yeah,
they do definitely.
Yeah.
Well, another team obviously we need to speak about. We did obviously briefly say about, and then is Nottm Forest. I mean, I'll be honest. I actually altered my fantasy team because I was like, oh, they're playing City, so I've got to take some of Nottingham Forest players out. I left by mistake. I left Sales in goal, thinking, "Oh God, he's going to concede like loads of goals, and I'll get minus points." He gets a clean sheet.
Very good.
Yes!
I was raging because I left Milenkovic on the bench. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? But yeah, what a season they're having! Like unbelievable. We mentioned it earlier, but I mean, if they could feasibly finish second this season, which would just be insane, a Champions League spot from where they were a couple of seasons ago would be amazing.
Yeah, I think I mean, they said it not too long ago. 6 points above the relegation zone they finished last season. And this season they are now. Am I right in thinking they're 3 points clear of City with that victory?
They are 2 points clear of City, but only 4 points behind Arsenal. So they're well in there. Oh, sorry, they're 4 points ahead of City. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. So they're well in there if they hang in there.
Yeah, and I think that the one player I'm expecting to fall off completely probably next season is probably someone like Chris Wood. Yeah. I like him, but I think this was a fantastic season that won't be repeated by him. The one player though I really think is going to come on next season is Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he again he's shown against City how clinical he can be. He's really good player. I don't think he's ever going to quite be that player that Bayern Munich were interested in when he was at Chelsea, but he really could show. He really could show teams. Do you know what? I am their main player. I'm the player that's going to get the 3 points
on the Champions League stage as well in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that I think if Nottingham Forest fans turned around and they said, "Oh, as long as we get into the playoffs. If they get into the playoffs of the Champions League, that's a story in itself. That is for them. They're laughing no matter what, really. But you know how it works. The moment you get there, you want it all, don't you?
It's what Villa fans are at the moment, right? I guess, and they're thinking they're the kind of where they are when that first leg of victory. They must be thinking we can go all the way.
Exactly. I think. But what do you think Nottingham Forest need in order to next season? Like, because we see it with Aston Villa, for example, they've got into the Champions League and they've dropped off in the Premier League. They still in the chance of getting in the top 4, but they have dropped off. Same with Newcastle. They got in the Champions League. They dropped off in the Premier League. What do Nottingham Forest need to do in order to stop themselves dropping potentially? Because they could really drop off with the quality in their team. Yeah. So what do you think they need to do?
A denser squad. I mean, it's inevitable with every team or mid-table-ish team who get into the Champions League. That it's just it's inevitable. It just happens every time where they get into the Champions League next season and their league form takes a significant dip. I don't know. Better players, denser squad. They're obviously going to get a lot of money from finishing in the top 4, so they can dip into the transfer market in the summer. But keep Hudson-Odoi, keep Milenkovic. Like you said, I agree. I don't think Chris Wood will have the same season, and mainly because of his age, I guess. I mean, he's 33 now. He's not likely to repeat his form next season as well, especially in Europe with midweek games at the weekend as well. So it's not likely.
I mean, we could be wrong, and he could be another Jamie Vardy all of a sudden, but I just can't see it. I can't see it.
No, I don't think so.
But I think for me, attacking wise, I think if they can get another striker in, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
The other thing, I think they need an experienced defender just to go alongside those other young defenders, because they are really good defenders, but they need someone experienced that if they get a lead, shot, because they've got the players to do it.
Yeah,
They just
absolutely.
need that right mindset to then just shut it up. So yeah, but no, Man City obviously. I think this season they've just been like, I wouldn't say they've been a lot lower than what they've produced in recent years, and it's just a sort of thing of let's get this season out of the way and move on now.
Yeah, just move on. Yeah. Do you know what I was thinking the other day actually? And the point may have been made by something else. It must have been. But I was thinking this is the season that everyone expected them to have after the treble. You know what I mean? Like, so after the treble, I think everyone
Yes.
expected a massive dip off in form.
Yeah.
So I think the season they're having now is probably what people expected them to have following the treble season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I think enough has already been said on it. I mean, they're having a stinker of a season, and like you said, I think they just want to get to the end of it. Pep will want to get to the end of it and just recruit again in the summer, just rethink it and go again, and just kind of write this one off. But I mean, they're still in the chance for a top 4, so they do have to fight for that. So it's not all over you just yet. And of course the Champions League. So yeah.
But I mean, us Chelsea, we've pushed them out of that Champions League 4th place.
Yeah.
We're back in it again.
Really
Cucurella back in it again. I'm well happy. But is it time that all these attacking players Chelsea have got? Cole Palmer again stepped up and he missed a penalty. In all honesty, I don't know if you've seen the penalty, but it was actually a fantastic save. I thought it was a really good save, and it wasn't a badly taken penalty, but it just goes along with his drought, really, like to miss a penalty like that. I just think the attacking players have to step up now. They have to step up and stop being so reliant on Palmer. They have to.
Can I ask Matt why? Because I've not really been watching too much of Chelsea.
Why not?
This side of this year, this side of Christmas. I mean, I'm just looking at his stats now. His last seven games in the Premier League, no goals, 1 assist. He's been anonymous, really. Has there been any particular reason for that, or is it just his own?
I just think that the pressure, like last season he come into the Chelsea side only because
last season.
Yeah, but only because Christopher Nkunku got an injury, and then they had to bring someone else in. They brought Palmer in, and he was only seen as a backup for when he comes back into the side. Obviously, he kept having the injuries and never come back in. And Palmer obviously flourished how he did and won the Young Player of the Year. Fantastic season. Went into the Euros and done really well with England. And I think he come back into this season with such high expectations to produce exactly the same again.
Yeah. And he did start well. The
quality is there. There's no doubt about it. I reckon it will be one of those things. It'll be like a simple tap-in. We'll get it going again. But I think too much pressure is on him. There's too much pressure on him. Like the likes of Neto record is dreadful. And he is a good player, but his record's dreadful. If you got like obviously Mudrik's banned at the minute anyway, but he was never going to produce the numbers anyway. I never felt. But Enzo Fernandez is the only player I would really say this Chelsea side that's actually producing something decent for Chelsea. But that's not even saying much. I think our entire side. He might even need to come out the side for a little bit. Just put it out there. Probably a lot of fans probably think don't do it. But something needs to happen because he just can't do it.
He needs something for his confidence. I agree with you that like he just needs a tap in. He needs a goal to go in off his arse. Something. Just get the ball in somehow. And just get that confidence back again. You know what I mean? And then just kind of get the ball rolling again. But,
Exactly. Have you ever scored a goal with his head? I've never. I can't think of one. But
I don't know.
Maybe that's it.
That's one for the next quiz.
There we go. Yeah.
I'll make a note of that.
No. Hang on. Let me get my research in now.
Get up the YouTube compilation.
Yeah, But it was a good victory for Chelsea yesterday, and obviously that it does get us back in the top 4 race. And I did think with playing Southampton, playing Leicester, it was a good way of getting things back up and running again. But I think we've got Arsenal next, and that's a real chance to show, like, right, we're back now. We've got to really go at them. And Arsenal were there for the taking, in my eyes. Like, if so, we've got to go for it, and maybe narrow down on Nottm Forest. Look up, don't look behind us.
Yeah.
Too many good teams behind us.
I was gonna ask Stuart as well, like, just with Liverpool, are you just, for Liverpool fans, it actually must be agonizing, the fact that the title's pretty much won, and they just be like willing the weeks to go by just to get to the point where they've won it. They just want to celebrate. So it must be hell going through every weekend. Like, come on, just get to the end. Like,
yeah, kind of. Just because it's very unusual to like kind of sitting there going like, as much as I'll never say it, but yes, it's just one. You just want it to be like, can we just
get this
cut it now so we can start celebrating and having the rest of the season.
Stuart. You can say it. It's fine. We're here for you. You can say it.
Yes, it's one. Yes, we've
Yay!
won. Okay.
Now Arsenal's going to come back.
Well, when was it?
What,
16 points? Like, so that what? Like,
I can tell.
You would have to be crazy for me to go, oh, it's not one. It's like, it's one. Let's be honest. Yeah. It's kind of But the question is when.
Be cautious though. I think it's as long as, for people like Arne Slot, as long as it's mathematically still possible, he will still say in his interviews, no, Arsenal are a good side, anything can happen, blah blah blah. Even though in his own head he'd be like thinking that's pure nonsense. We've got it in the bag.
That Van Dijk's behind him goes, well done. That can.
After that Southampton game, I mean, obviously it's how it started that first half. I was thinking, oh god, is it just going to be like? Because we thought we think it's one. We're going to sit there and go drop off, but obviously in the second half we came back, so it was okay in the end. But I kind of just want to be like when we next do a couple of episodes in, we're like, so Stuart, how you feeling? You've won the league. I'm like, be so happy.
He's saying it now.
Just want to say it.
I haven't checked the permutations or mathematically when they could. Is it still too early to?
I think 6 victories they need. They need 6 victories.
Right. Okay.
Probably goes down a little bit now where Arsenal drew yesterday.
Yeah. All right.
6 victories, and the first game after that, where they get a guard of honour, is at Arsenal. Yes.
Oh no, it's at Anfield, I think. Isn't it?
Anfield, sorry. But Arsenal still have to do the guard of honour.
Yeah. Oh, they will hate that.
I know, and it's going to be glorious when it happens. Yeah. But I think it's like, was it 6? Yeah, 5-6 wins. But that depends if Arsenal win all the way 4 or 5 games in a row. So it's a good chance it might be wrapped up next 2-3 weeks. Well, early next month or something possibly.
Yeah.
So optimistic.
Who are your next game? I'm just going to pull up the fixtures. You've got the League Cup final this weekend. Actually, forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Yeah. You don't need the League Cup. You don't need it. Just give it to Newcastle.
How can I respond to that? No.
Take your European double and let Newcastle get a trophy. Don't be greedy.
I mean, if we were nice like that, but no, we're ruthless. We won all the trophies.
Fair enough.
So just so greedy.
Fulham. So your next league game is Fulham away.
Ooh.
And then West Ham at home. So that's 2 wins. And then Leicester away. And then Leicester away. And then Spurs at home. That's 4 wins. I mean, that's just get it over with.
Do that thing you can do in free play. You used to play FIFA and you can put the forfeit bit. Just do it for the titles.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Because I mean, there's nothing much to. Well, the top 4, I guess, is something to kind of keep an eye on. But the relegation, I think, is pretty much cleared up, and the title is cleared up.
Well, I mean, the one thing I was a bit, I thought was a little bit annoying for Liverpool fans. This must be is I keep seeing comments saying, "Oh, this league season's been boring. It's been boring." And I just think, do you know what though? It's like I don't think it has been, because you've seen, we talk about Nottingham Forest in the top 4. Nottingham Forest.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, if anything,
Chelsea had that brilliant start to the season, were in the title race at the start of the season. Arsenal, unfortunately, haven't. of completely.
Mm.
Liverpool have been brilliant. They've not been lucky. They've been brilliant.
I think it's been anything but. If anything, it's been one of the more exciting seasons the last few years. I mean, not just teams like Nottingham Forest, but you got like Bournemouth, teams like Fulham, Brighton are having
they were the top four at one point, weren't they?
They're the form team at the moment. They won their last 4 league games, and for the neutral as well. I mean, it's always interesting to see a top 6 team lose and lose a lot.
Yes.
So you've got teams like Tottenham and United having stinkers of seasons. So they're always good for a headline, be it good or bad, come the weekend for the neutral. So, and like you said, Liverpool have been great, and with a new manager who's going to win the title. So I mean, there's plenty to kind of read about and kind of enjoy this season. I think it's been a great season.
Exactly.
Always happens when we win the league, because it's the same argument they came up with in the COVID season.
Oh, it's boring. It was boring. But that was boring.
I know, but I just hear these arguments. I mean, obviously, it's probably Man United when they kept winning it back in the day probably got the same arguments. Oh, the league's boring, but it always seems to be brought up when we're top of the league. But maybe it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think it's great for Liverpool. I mean, I just did not want City to win it. I didn't want it to become.
No one did.
4 years in a row.
4 years in a row. Like, oh, go away. No, hang on. Let someone else win it. Preferably Arsenal, obviously, but I don't mind Liverpool winning it, honestly, as long as it's not Man City.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What about Chelsea? You could say it, David. You can say I wouldn't have minded Chelsea winning. Just follow
Chelsea,
me. But I do have one more thing before we move on in the Premier League games. What do you reckon will happen first? Will Southampton be relegated?
Or Liverpool win the league?
Will win the league.
What do you think, Stuart?
That is something I've not.
I think Southampton will get relegated.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more likely that Liverpool may drop points than Southampton will. I think Southampton are certainly to just lose more games than Liverpool will draw, if that makes sense. So I think Southampton will get relegated first.
Are they still on course? Are they still on course to become the worst team in Premier League history?
Yeah, they're on 9 points. They still only need 2 points.
Yeah, so 3 draws or a win in their last 10 games. Surely they can do it.
I mean,
hang on, let's have a quick scroll through their last few fixtures.
Just
see if there's any beams of hope. Any beacons of hope. So I've got it. I've got the fantasy thing up here. So Wolves at home. Actually, that's a big game. That's their next league game. Wolves at home.
I love how you say that's a big game. Like they have a chance of staying up.
Oh no, I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Ipswich. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, it's Ipswich it's Wolves who are on 23 points, not Ipswich. Never mind. But a fellow kind of regulation-ish contender at home. You'd have to say. I mean, that's one of the fixtures they would have between now and the end of the season that you would surely they would look at it and go, oh come on, let's try and at least get a draw here. Like So Wolves at home, and then it's Crystal Palace at home. So 2 home games in a row doesn't really make much difference.
Surely they got to pick something up for one of them, like
a point even out of 2 home games. I mean, come on.
Don't say it for Palace though, because then they got the best away record.
Yeah, that's true actually. And then they've got Spurs away.
Spurs is definitely an option because where they play.
I reckon. I'm going to go out on the limb here. I reckon Southampton will go down on the same day, on the same weekend. Liverpool win the league. I'm going to go out on the limb.
You should put some money on that, mate. You should get onto Paddy Pear and get some odds for that.
That's about to say that. Check the odds on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get the traders to make some odds for you. Like 50 quid on that.
BeGambleAware.org.
Just put a little thing, the little crest up in the corner there for a second.
Yeah.
When the fun stops. Anyway,
No, so obviously we've got you got the Spurs game as well. I mean, Fulham. Good, I don't know why I said Fulham. But obviously you got Tottenham, Bournemouth winning 2-0, and then Spurs obviously turning it around and getting a point from that. I seriously look at this Spurs side, and you just look, they're so open all the time. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I think they'll 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 be able to do it. I think th I don't even know what defenders are and can get in that are gonna make his system work in this league. I think you could have Sergio Ramos in his prime, and I think that he would get exposed in that sort of philosophy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just the back foot; it's the midfield ahead of you that kind of
Yeah.
offers some protection
Yeah.
as well. But I mean, do they
Yeah.
they still have their main centre back still injured though, aren't they? Or do they have? Is one or two of them back now? I didn't.
Let me
see.
just have a quick look. I think they were still
I think one of them
injured.
came back. What's his
Yeah.
name? Van der Ven. I think he came back,
Oh
didn't he?
no, Christian Romero.
Oh right,
Christian
okay,
Romero,
right.
he come
So,
back,
yeah.
and though he come back. I mean, their defense was Pedro Porro and
Porro, yeah.
yeah, Christian Romero. Then they've got Spence, and then is it Dan So? I've never even heard of him, but they've got Vicario back in goal. So
Back and go. Well, that's something at least.
yeah,
But
so
went into the weekend, but
all these things of people going, oh, this is a really weak Spurs side. We've had so many injuries. This is their starting 11 yesterday. Okay, Brandon Johnson up front with Dominic Solanke, and is it? I don't know who that is. Wilson, but I don't even know who that is. A Bert or something. And then you've got Benton Coy in midfield, Sarr, Basuma in the
did
midfield.
Son not start?
No, Son
yeah,
didn't start. Son was on the bench.
Oh right.
Wait, was he?
And is it just me, or I'm sorry, that is nothing to do with injuries there. You were just
No, that's pretty much. I mean, Son aside, and he did come on and score. So I mean, that's
oh,
basically that's
yeah,
their strongest front line, isn't it? Solanke, their summer
exactly.
signing, Son, their best player, and Brennan Johnson, the best up and comer, if you like.
Yeah,
Best keeper in goal. Yeah, I mean, the trouble is just the defense, isn't it? They're so leaky.
yeah,
And yeah, a bit kind of very spacious and very capacious in midfield. But yeah, I mean, but it's been never thus this season. Them and United are just having the worst season imaginable.
exactly. Yeah,
I think they're level on points right now. Yeah, they are 34 points each, but Tottenham have a superior goal difference. So
there you
yeah,
go.
be interesting to see who can win the 14th, 13th place derby between those two. Whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, I don't know.
But it's I think one stat I did see earlier, and I thought this was actually quite interesting. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has seen the most goals scored this season.
Yeah, aren't they like the third highest goal scorers or something? Like they've scored a rake of goals this season.
They've scored 30 at Tottenham. Like Tottenham have scored 30.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it. They've scored
56 goals have been scored.
Yeah, 50. Well, I can see 55 in total from the league, which is the second highest in the league, just behind Liverpool. Yeah. So goal scoring, obviously, it's the exact opposite of the Arsenal thing. I mean, goal scoring isn't a problem. It's just defending and their overall play. It's just they're too flaky Spurs.
Exactly, But I think we'll move on now to the Champions League. Obviously, I think another big week for Stu coming up with PSG at Anfield. Stu, I bet you were absolutely, I won't say the word, but I bet you were absolutely yourself, weren't you, when that ball was going at Alisson like there was no tomorrow.
Obviously, because obviously, it's just how we survived that first half.
Yeah,
I do not know. I mean, it does help that you've got arguably the best keeper in the world that could make, it's like hard to beat. But yeah, that was what they called it. Was it the definition of a snatch and grab? It literally was.
Yes, it 100% was.
Yeah,
like
totally.
You were battered in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched it as well, David, but I was sitting there, and even my partner was sitting there going like, "My God, like PSG just cannot get in the goal, can they?" And then Elliot comes on and scores, and I think everyone was just sitting there thinking, "What? Like, what? How's that happen?"
Unbelievable. I mean, Alisson. I mean, the performance of a lifetime. That. I mean, goodness me.
Is it the best? Is it
in the world?
Well, the best in like Champions League recent history. Like say, what was it, 92? I think the Champions League was
Yeah,
established.
same as the
yeah. So from that point to now, it's definitely got to be like in the top 3 at least. It was astounding some of the saves he was making. Some of them saves, definitely.
Look at the stats of the game. I mean, I think we did 26, 27 shots. I think he had like 9 of them, and obviously stopped them all. It's these are the kind of games when you're not playing your best, and you obviously got teams that are all over you. It does help. I know obviously it is kind of true, but yeah, it does help when you've got one of the best keepers in the world. Yeah. That it's has to do something special. But yeah, I mean, after to be fair, credit for that game with Nunez, like with a bit of criticism, but the last 2 games he's but he kind of stepped up and kind of just but obviously got the assist for the PSG game, and obviously got the equaliser against Southampton. He's inconsistent sometimes, but he's popped in a couple of good performances during the season.
Yeah, no, I agree. But one player I do want to mention, and it is a PSG player, Ousmane Dembele had Robertson like on his legs, on his knees. He was, he just could not deal with him. His pace, it was like like when he moved to Barcelona, that big money move. That's the Dembele they wanted. That exact Dembele.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like it just for it come out for everyone to see, and all he needed was a goal to cap off for a brilliant night. But like we say, Alisson was just fantastic. I mean, thank God you still ain't got Loris Karius in goal. I mean, I think that would have been 9-0, wouldn't it?
I mean, if ever there was a contrast in Premier League goalkeeping performances between the Champions League final where Karius played and that game that Alisson played the other night in PSG, I mean, you couldn't get 2 different performances by goalkeepers.
I've been watching that back as well. Watching the documentary on Amazon Prime. I watched it back, and then they were talking about the Champions League final. I was like, I was trying to kind of, I was always got quite traumatized by that game, by that final. But watching it back again just brings back horrible memories. So let's forget about that. That
first one where he just throws it into Benzema's legs. Oh,
what was he thinking?
Apparently, he had a concussion.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah. That would have explained. I know we're going off tangent here, but did you remember was it the 3rd goal, the one after Bale's ridiculous bicycle kick where he just punted it from like 35 yards and he just kind of let it through his hands?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of explanation of like he might have been a bit messed up from the from being possibly concussed, but anyway, Alisson, that performance, it kind of reminds you that you can't win any major trophies without a top class goalkeeper.
Yes.
People always say that about I know this wasn't a Premier League game, but it's one of those that you cannot win anything. So that it's not just strikers that can win you games. That it's sometimes it's just a world class goalkeeper between the sticks, as they say.
Exactly. I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, really, because even when you look at the Premier League this season, like the teams that are in the top 4, Liverpool. Alisson's in goal, world class. Second is Arsenal, Raya, and he has produced some good.
He's really good. He's had a great season. Yeah.
Then you've got in 3rd, Nottm Forest. Sales has just been
really good,
brilliant this year. So he's been fantastic. And then I mean, we won't talk about Chelsea, but
Who's the no, dude, let's talk about you.
I realised the moment I got to 4th, I was like, okay.
Wait a minute, and City,
If we even think about last season, Aston Villa, like they had Martinez.
Yeah.
So I do agree. I think world class keepers definitely give you that leverage over other teams. That is for sure. So,
Alisson, best in the world, Stuart?
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't sit there and say if he wasn't, who. That's the question.
Yeah.
Maybe not this season though. Maybe if you came back to me 2 seasons ago or a couple of seasons before, like maybe. But he's up there. But obviously, I mean, if it was last season or the season
Real
before,
Madrid this season as opposed to so you can't slightly biased in that sense. But
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, another keeper that had a really good night was it Wojciech Szczęsny, wasn't he? For Barcelona. He was brilliant as well against Benfica. And is it just me? Like, do you sometimes sit there and think to yourself, this is the same keeper?
The Arsenal?
Who was at Arsenal?
I get a weird kind of a bit of a jolt every time I see like a Barcelona starting 11. oh yeah, Chesney's there. God, do you remember when he was at Arsenal at the second half of Wenger's reign when they were absolutely pants and they couldn't win a game? Like, yeah, honestly, it's strange. Good for him. Is Ter Stegen still at the club, or did he just move on and they just bought Chesney instead?
No, I think he's still there. Like, I think because Chesney come out of retirement.
Yeah, I was thinking.
He
I
come- he
don't
did
remember
retire,
when he
didn't he?
went there.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, no, but honestly, every time I see him, and then when I saw like, oh, he had a brilliant game against Benfica, I just keep sitting there thinking, I don't like this is the same guy who was rubbish at Arsenal,
Yeah.
and like he's gone to Juventus and won the league, like won leagues
Yeah.
over there. And did he go PSG at one point? Or
I
am
don't think so. I don't
No,
think so. No.
I think
But
then it was just Juventus and
yeah,
Juventus and Barcelona. But
yeah.
oh my God, like
I was
he
thinking about
is.
him letting 8 in at Old Trafford as well, and that 8-2 against Arsenal. Like he was the one.
Oh
He was the keeper
yes,
that
yeah.
day as well. I just always think about that game when I see him. And look
Yeah.
at him having a stormer at Barcelona. Fair play, mate. Fair play.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
But obviously you got the Arsenal game as well. 7-1. We did speak about that earlier as well. Anyway, that's all done and dusted.
Mm.
I think the big one. Well, you got obviously by Leverkusen. Obviously narrowly losing to Bayern Munich.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that Bayer Leverkusen can turn it around now, or
Is the second leg was the second leg in the Allianz or in Bayern Munich or at Munich?
So it's
it's
a home
away in
advantage.
Leverkusen. You never know. That could be a game, one of the games to watch actually. Because the Leverkusen, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Bayern Munich they're considerably clear at the top of the Bundesliga at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think Leverkusen, that aside, are still having a fairly strong season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this could be a good game. It's hard to say which way it could go.
I think that just Bayer Leverkusen just got to absolutely go for it in that second leg.
Yeah,
they've got the players to do it. They've got the players to do it, and we know defensively they are strong as well. But it's the thing is with Bayern Munich, they always always do well in the Champions League. They always get in and around those last 8 to 8 teams, don't they? So
another team with a potential. Well, maybe you wouldn't say now, but with another, maybe a world-class keeper who's maybe just passed it with Neuer. Maybe in the kind of between 2013 and 2010 and 2015, you would say he'd be up there as one of the best. Going back to the goalkeeper chat, but
yeah, I think Neuer is the best goalkeeper from 2010 through to from the teenies. I would say he was the best goalkeeper in the world. I would do myself, but I know, like, even though he was
Champions League.
Yes, he won the World Cup exactly, and he won every single trophy in
Casillas. Maybe I think Casillas would probably be up there as well because he won all those Champions Leagues and the World Cup as well. So him, Casillas, someone else I'm thinking of. Who was the Atlético Madrid? What was his name? Oblak. Jan Oblak. Yeah. He's really good.
I remember a game he had against Liverpool.
What game?
Yeah, you're gonna have to elaborate there, buddy.
No, but the other game obviously Real Madrid and Atlético. I mean, that's still like 2-1. That's still got a chance. Atlético turning him over. I mean, chances are slim. I still think Vinicius Junior and Mbappe and like those sort of players. When you've got them in your side, it just feels like it is out of Atlético though, isn't it? So
it is as Atlético, and they're having another fairly. I mean, they're out of the title race. It looks like, but they're still they're always strong defensively at home. I mean, Simeone sides at home especially they're just rock solid when it comes to not being leaky and not letting goals in. But I mean that front four, Vinicius Junior, Bellingham, Rodrigo, and obviously Mbappe it's just when you see those four in the starting line, there's just an air of inevitability about just them going all the way and winning the Champions League at an absolute canter. But it still could be a tight one at Atletico, but I think that Real Madrid will just overpower them eventually.
Yeah, I think they will get over the line.
Yeah, me too.
But one player I do want to highlight, because I was actually shocked Man City did sell him in the summer, and that is Julian Alvarez.
Oh, Alvarez.
They sold him in the summer, and I remember saying to my friends, they are going to regret that sale. They are going to regret that sale, and I stand by that. I think that Julian Alvarez is a very underrated player, and this season. Just having a look now, this season he has had 41 appearances and scored 22 goals for Atlético. He has been a real good player for them, and a part of me does think, why did you sell a player who you knew would be a really good player for years to come?
I mean, you don't sell. Well, I mean, I think it comes down to as simple as you don't sell a player who you know is going to be good down the line. He must have wanted to leave, or he didn't like a circumstance at City or something. You just don't sell someone who you think who has that potential. You just don't do it. So it must have been a sort of. But it was a clean kind of. I think City and Pep have been really good at kind of those clean breaks. So do you remember Ferran Torres?
Yes, to Barcelona.
Yeah, but it was a very clean, and I compared it to another player at United who I'll mention in a second, but it came out where Ferran Torres wasn't happy at City, and he spoke with Pep, and they decided that and Barcelona came in for him, and they let him go. And that all happened in the space of, I think, within a week. It was very cut and dry. And I compare that to something like Pogba at United when he came back, and rumors are kind of rumbling for the best part of an entire season, I think, where he wanted to leave. His agent was putting out rumors that he wanted to go, that other clubs were in for him, and it just went on and on and on. But yeah, City and Pep just, despite the City board with Chicky Begiristain, I think they're very shrewd when it comes to signings in and letting players go as well. It always feels very kind of cut and dry.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I to be honest, I would have had Julian Alvarez at Chelsea, but we've got enough attacking players. Like, we don't. I think we're being a bit greedy at this point.
He'd be useless anyway if he went to Chelsea. He just.
Don't be silly. He would be, yeah. It would be, yeah. I'll be honest there. He would probably score 2 goals, and that'd be against Southampton, and everyone would be like, oh. So yeah. Well, I think that's it for all the stories of this week. Obviously, we've got all the Champions League fixtures coming up this week. Fingers crossed for all the English sides, not just in the Champions League, but in the Europa League and the Conference League. Fingers crossed all of them progress through, and actually we can make it quite far in each of the tournaments. That'd be really nice to see. But we are on to the part of this show that me and Stuart were asking our beloved fans our start, bench, and sell. Okay. Now, if you remember from last week, everyone, we all had you had to choose 3 players from the same position, and it could be any, you could have one from nowadays all the way back to prehistoric times. You could have 2, players from all over the place. It's up to you how you want to do it, but we wanted to hear your best ones, and we have had some absolute crackers come in. But what I'm going to start with is Stuart come out with a very good one last week, and I want to hear Dave's opinion about who he thinks should be, what order it should be. So I'll leave it to you, Stuart.
Okay. Well, I mean, this one is just when I was going to be research, I saw this one. I was like, yeah, I've got to try. I've got to put this out to you guys.
Is this a Liverpool one or is this a?
No, it's no, actually, it's a Brazilian one.
Ah, okay.
So it's basically free. So that's just that's a start.
I know what
bench
it's going to
still.
be. Yeah.
Got Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, or Ronaldo.
So I would sell Rivaldo, bench Ronaldinho, and start Ronaldo.
I think that's what I went for. I think that's.
So Rivaldo, I think is well, but the two troublesome players that are not trouble, but they're the ones where you'd agonize over the most are Ronaldinho and Ronaldo, isn't it? So Rivaldo can do one. So you're selling him, and I think Ronaldo just peaked. Well, Ronaldo and Ronaldinho.
I love this.
Oh, I just love how quick you've just done that. That took me like a couple of minutes. You just went. You just
I mean, like Rivaldo compared to that. I mean, he's great in that Brazilian sides of the past. He's been great. But I always think about that dive. I forget which World Cup he was in when the ball was
2002.
Booted at his knees and he went down clutching his face. I always remember that about Rivaldo. I never liked him, but anyway. So you've got
the Ballon d'Or.
And he was out. And he was outstanding at Barcelona at that time, right?
Well, so I'd sell him anyway. And yeah, what did I say? Bench Ronaldinho and start Ronaldo. Yeah, I think that would be. I think that's
Yeah.
The best way to do it now. Do you agree, Matt? Stuart,
I think that's exactly what I went for. But the thing that makes me laugh is that I went for exactly that, but it took me a little bit of time to get to it. But you have like you're like a Ferrari.
Easy.
You've just gone flying past
yeah.
it. Just gone, just get on with that
I'd
one.
be a great manager. I wouldn't have any hesitation. No, you're on the bench today, son. Off you go. See you. I wouldn't care. Yeah, ruthless. I'd be ruthless.
Stu's like, oh, I've got a picture of Rivaldo on my wall. Like,
just slowly rolling up the poster, like, all right, just tell.
Okay, maybe he isn't a good player after all.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
right.
as soon as you said Brazilian, I knew it was going to be those three, or maybe Roberto
that's why it was
Carlos or
so
something.
quick.
Like, yeah. So I was already, it was already working in my head. Like,
oh God. Right. Well, I've got one, and I'll kick it all off. And this one I thought was actually brilliant. It was from my mate Ryan, and it is Sergio Busquets, Xavi,
oh no, Iniesta,
and Rodri.
Oh, sell Rodri.
But he won the Ballon d'Or again.
Sell Rodri.
I mean?
Sell Rodri. Bench Busquets and start Xavi.
Yeah, I would actually
can't disagree with that one. I think I've got the same.
Because Rodri is a great player, and he's won a Ballon d'Or and a Champions League, but he hasn't won a World Cup. He's just not in the same category as that iconic Barcelona midfield with Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta. He's just nowhere near them. Even though, as good as he is, he's nowhere near those three at all.
I don't disagree with that one.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of City fans are probably gonna hate me saying this, but
I don't think so. I think City fans would agree. I think a lot of City fans would agree with that.
But his prime was not that good.
There's no way any City fan who knows anything about football would start or bench Rodri over either of those two players.
They would. They would.
Chance.
No,
if they do, then they should stop watching football and go watch tennis or something, because they clearly don't know anything about football. Honestly, I'm getting angry about people hypothetically doing it. Like, but yeah, no chance. That's another. I've got one for you, Stuart. If you don't mind, Matt. If
go for it. Go for it. Whatever ones you've got, I just want to hear.
So Liverpool strikers I have. So I've got Luis Suarez, Michael Owen, and Robbie Fowler.
You know my order already.
I would definitely sell Michael Owen, because I still can't forgive him. Never will.
Nope.
But when it comes to start, I'll probably. That's a tough one, because obviously.
I think it is a bit. I know who I'd choose, but I think it is a tough one to kind of.
Because obviously, I know what Matt would choose, because obviously that's his hill he's going to die on, isn't he? With Luis Suarez, isn't he? He's gonna... But just because of how prolific he was for a couple more seasons, I think I would probably start Robbie Fowler and then bench Luis Suarez.
Really? All right. What would you go for that with that one, Matt? Because I would sell Michael Owen as well, but I would have started Suarez and benched Fowler. But I mean,
the thing is,
either one of those is fine.
I actually disagree. With
me or with Stuart?
No, Luis Suarez starts. Like, I don't even need to say it. Like,
you would sell Fowler?
Like, it's obvious, dude. I would sell Fowler. Hear me out when I say this.
Okay.
This is the thing people forget. Michael Owen's prime was not just unreal. Like a little. Wasn't just he was okay. He was unreal. He was like he was world class at that point and unplayable. Probably in a lot of European teams he would have been. Yeah. If we're talking prime, Michael Owen would be on that bench for me.
I mean, Ballon d'Or winner. He played for Real Madrid. I mean, And
you don't move to Real Madrid for no reason.
Exactly, yeah, and you'd win a Ballon d'Or for no reason. I mean, yeah, that's a good. That's a good.
Well, we as much as I can look at it for prime and how amazing he was when he was in his prime, but as Liverpool, we can't forgive him for going to Man United. So that kind of it's always going to be in the cell.
Your loyalty deceives your decision making.
Never.
What about you,
Um,
Stuart? You got any other belters?
I've got one for. Oh, sorry, Stu, go ahead.
Oh, to be fair, this is the one I was going to do because it's the obvious one. But I just want to see you guys react as also David, basically how ruthless you are.
Okay.
The obvious one is obviously would you go start, bench, sell? Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes. It's the ultimate one you would ask. So.
Yeah, with start Skulls, sell.
You're just
Sell Gerrard
Oh.
and there's no, that's not just a kind of anti-Liverpool thing and bench and Lampard. Just for assist and goals output, I think that's why I would have Lampard slightly over Gerrard, and the fact that he's won Premier League titles, I would just have him ahead of Gerrard. I love Gerrard as a player. I thought he was great, but that's the tough one. That's the ultimate start bench sell.
I know.
Question, isn't it? You know.
Had to be asked by.
Yeah, I know.
The only one I agree with there is Lampard being on the bench.
Really, you would start Gerrard and sell Scholes?
100%. I like Paul Scholes, brilliant. Like passing the ball, he was fantastic. If you want a goal scorer, you have Lampard.
Yeah. See, that's why I'd bench him. I wouldn't.
But
sell
if you
him.
want both and
Gerrard
leadership, you have Gerrard.
Yeah.
We were just saying about this with Owen, and then you've got done it with
Gerrard. Sodom. Get out of my club. Yeah.
But the other thing I always say as well with this one, if Paul Scholes and Lampard were that good, why did Alex Ferguson and Mourinho both go for Gerrard?
And why England managers in the past couldn't get them in the same team as well, or they tried to and they just didn't work.
Oh
Scholes
no,
on the left and all that jazz.
No.
Yeah.
No,
But I have one for you. I have one for you, Matt.
Go.
Diego Costa, Didier Drogba, and Eden Hazard. I know they're not. I know Hazard's not quite in the same position, but just go with it.
Okay. I'm selling Costa. Like it. I loved him.
Yeah,
but
he weren't do the same. I think
I wouldn't like put him in the same bracket as them two. Anyway, not even near.
The only thing, would you not? Well, he basically, alongside maybe with Fabregas and Costa, basically won you the title in, was it 2015? Top goals.
Yeah, Hazard, Fabregas.
He did have impact, but maybe for just that one seat. Was he at Chelsea when you won it in 2017 with Conte?
Yeah, he was.
2 league titles.
So he was a brilliant player, but I mean, Drogba.
Compared to Drogba,
exactly.
No,
so he's definitely being sold. But the hardest bit is: do you start Hazard or do you start Drogba? Hazard was for me, and I want to get onto this in a minute because I think it's a big thing that has gone in football. But we'll get onto it in a moment. Hazard made the game just beautiful. Like he was the way run past defenders, like there was nobody's business. I remember goal scored against Liverpool. He just ran past everyone and smashed him back in the net.
Against Arsenal as well, solo goal. Yeah.
Arsenal, West Ham, like he used to do it. It was brilliant to watch. But Drogba, he won us. He won us so many trophies, and he won us the Champions League.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I would bench Hazard and
I think and start Drogba. Yeah, I don't think you could be. I think either one. I think if you either bench or sell either one of those two, I don't think either one is the wrong answer. Do you know, kind of way, because it's such a close call. Yeah. So that's probably a tough one. Yeah. I've got one here, but I know you wanted to move on to something, Matt. But we were just chatting about the Barcelona team. Because I don't think you can separate the three, but if you're to do a sell bench,
my god,
Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, I don't think you can you? Because I mean, they all kind of work together within that. Do you know what I mean? So they're not really, you
can't all start all, bench none, sell none.
Yeah.
No, in all honesty, though, if you were to ask me that, I would sell Xavi out of those three.
I would sell
Xavi out of those three.
Yeah, no. But because the whole thing wouldn't have worked. Because obviously with Xavi and Iniesta, like Busquets being behind
Xavi was the captain. No, I would have kept it.
I would sell Xavi. Bench Iniesta, as much as that kills me, because I think.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not an easy. You know,
but Busquets for me is the
he
best
was
defensive
amazing,
midfielder
honestly.
ever.
Yes,
He's done it.
he was the linchpin of the whole midfield three. Without him, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So for me, that is why I'll
I
choose him.
think they all had, yeah, no, I agree completely. I mean, they all came from La Masia, didn't they? And they all had that tiki-taka kind of philosophy ingrained from when they were young. And they all have similar attributes. So not just passing and possession and dribbling, but just keeping the ball. I mean, do you ever watch compilations online of like, it's not goals or assists or anything. It's just them like dribbling or just keeping the ball and just not losing possession. Like it was just fascinating to watch. And even when, watch them in the Champions League and stuff, it was just amazing.
Well, I remember
Iniesta had a goal in him though. Iniesta had a goal in him.
Exactly.
That maybe set him apart a little bit. I think of those three, I think Iniesta was my favorite to watch. I think he's probably one of my favorite players ever anyway.
He was brilliant to watch.
Well, yeah.
So
that goal against Chelsea, huh?
Well, like you say about Chelsea, the season we won the Champions League and we played them in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
We had to park the bus and and absorb so much pressure, but it's because that midfield three, like we were saying, the moment they've in possession, you are not getting that ball.
Same as
just not
exactly. Yeah, it's just you've had it, mate. So it's same as 2011 Champions League final in Wembley with United with those three as well. Just not a hope at all. Not a hope.
No. But the thing I wanted to move on to just really quickly was: is football now becoming a bit too systematic now? That beautiful footballers are a dying breed.
As soon as you said that, the first person that came into my head was Jack Grealish. For some reason, who was he was a dynamic, fun to watch, unpredictable kind of winger at Villa, and then he goes to City, and he's not. I mean, well, no, for 100 million, he has been terrible, really, over 3 seasons.
Awful.
But just that kind of creativity and flair that he had, Pep just kind of drilled it out of him because he wanted him to play in a strict system and be in certain positions. He's just not the same player he was at Villa.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was that's the first player that kind of popped into my head, but I don't think that's across the board. There are still kind of beautiful individual players out there,
I think that
Salah being one, the first obvious one that comes to mind.
Salah is Salah,
Mbappe.
Mbappe. But I think in the Premier League, those sort of players are a dying breed. Salah's one that's still got it. Saka, I think Saka's still one of those sort of players as well. But it was like you say with Jack Grealish, like he was brilliant to watch, and for a neutral, you was like you sat there and just thought this guy is
fun to watch.
Really good.
Yeah.
And that's for me. That's what made me fall in love with football. Like I always remember a game against Real Madrid, and Ronaldinho was playing, and he absolutely ran the show, and he was applauded off the pitch for his performance. And it's like for me, those sort of games, those sort of players are the reason football is just so amazing to watch. Like in the nicest way, anyone can pass the ball well, but when you run through an entire team and just produce that piece of magic, sometimes you just think you are unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And speed comes into it. I think it's with wingers. I think it's wingers have that ability to be able to kind of get fans off their seats. That's saying, and kind of bring a game to life, kind of thing. Because they're the ones when they get it out in the wing, they're the ones who are they're usually the fastest players on the pitch. So they're the ones who are going up and down like that. So players like Hazard, Salah. You mentioned Ronaldinho, like kind of dynamic wingers. And there's maybe not too many of those in the Premier League at the moment. Grealish was a winger. Wasn't he a winger at Villa kind of ish, or was he more kind of inside left ish? He's more so that at City now, isn't he?
I think that it's just when they look back, it's providing his career at City that stays similar to what it is now. In years to come, people will have heard of Jack Grealish and they'll look him up and they'll go, well, he had a successful career, won all of these trophies at City.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to sit there and go, but he weren't the main player. He certainly was not a main player in that team. And that's the sad thing about it, really. So, But no. But on that note, like, I know it's a bit of a interesting one, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, people, actually as well. Hear what you actually think too, and like whether you think those sort of players still exist, especially in the Premier League. I know, like you say there, David, Mbappe, Vinicius Junior would be another
Vinicius
one.
Junior, obviously, yeah.
Leroy Sané actually would be another.
There's plenty about.
Yeah. Maybe I'm looking into a bit too much, but I do think those players are a lot harder to come by. Now.
I think you just want one at Chelsea, and that's why you're talking about it. I think that's why it comes up. And that's the end of the episode.
Dear Todd Bowley, put bid in for Vinicius Junior for 500 million,
Cheers,
even though we need to only pay 90.
Yeah.
All the best. Was it 10 years?
Matt Arcade. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt Arcade.
In a picture of
right.
you.
There you go, like that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening again. And don't forget to share our content and everything like that. And we'll see you again next time, okay? Right, take care, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Take care.